Berto Willis, your host. We are going to have a great show for you today. Good morning, Houston. Good morning, Harris County. Good morning, Texas. Good morning, United States of America. And good morning, the rest of the world. How is everybody doing today as I continue to get this system up? How is it going out there in the one and only studio with the geniuses involved? You keep you know, we 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 love Harry, and Harry always has one other thing. I'm still trying to get some of our own signal to the our guests, but keep on talking. Let's hear what brother Jack has to say this morning. Good morning, Jack. How you doing? Yes. You, you know, that is such an interesting statement. I shouldn't say an interesting statement, but I should say an interesting fact that's out there that one hopes we sometime take care of right now. Oh wow! It seems like we have a slight technical issue that I don't have our signaling going all the way over not only to our people on the internet, but otherwise. So as I fix that, I want to ask Jack to do me one favor, express a little bit more about that statement that you made as I try to get some of my signaling taken care of. Is Jack still there? Mm-hmm. You know that. No, no, no. Go ahead. I was just listening to you. You know this. It's a shame. Go ahead. I love exactly. Vote. It is a sad state that we're in right now. It is a complete sad state. Now, it looks we are still having a signaling problem. We can hear each other now. Let me ask you one thing. Can Neil hear the studio right now, or you don't hear the studio, Neil?
No, I do not,
Uh,
please.
but do you guys hear Neil at all, or when Neil speaks? Okay. Okay, that gives me something. Well, I tell you what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to start the program with the a 6 minute video that we have set to go, and I'm going to try to do some adjustments here if I can, so that we can make sure that the folks over the air can hear. Because what happens is there's one particular set that's not hearing. So we'll go ahead and do that now, and then get back with everybody. Mike Lawler. He wants to blame Democrats. Congressman, New York Congressman Mike Lawler wants to blame Democrats for getting rid of the Speaker, Speaker Boehner, Speaker I forgot his name already. McCarthy. All right. I want you to listen to this, and then we'll take it on the other side, because the gall of this guy is, I think, amazing. But at least he had one good thing to say. He said that Matt Gaetz should be expelled out of the House, out of the party, and also not the people who followed him and voted to kick him out as well, but those guys were just, according to his own words, useful idiots. Check this out.
And member of the Main Street Caucus, Mike Lawler. Congressman, thank you very much. I hear you have an opinion about Matt Gaetz and that you do think he should be expelled.
Oh, I think he should be expelled from the conference, no question. He violated the conference rules by bringing the motion to vacate forward without a majority of the majority, and teamed up with 208 Democrats to remove a duly elected House Republican Speaker. He undermined the conference, he undermined the institution, and he undermined the country, and he doesn't care. And so to me, I don't really see why we would have him part of our conference going forward. It's clear he's not somebody who's willing to work within the conference and wants to associate himself more with House Democrats to remove a Republican speaker. So I certainly believe that he should be removed from conference.
What about about the other 7 who voted alongside of him? What do you think of them?
I think, unfortunately, some of them were useful idiots in this crusade on Matt Gaetz's part. It was petty, it was personal, and it really, again, undermined the conference and the institution. Look, voters elected a House Republican majority to govern the House, to serve as a check and balance on the reckless spending of the Biden administration, $5 trillion in new spending in 2 years, totally unsustainable. And they wanted us to do something about the border. Unfortunately, these 8 individuals torpedoed the conference, took out our best player on the field, if you will, and created a constitutional crisis. We need to get a new speaker elected. We need to get back to doing the work of the American people, holding this administration accountable, reining in spending, dealing with our southern border, which in my home state of New York has created an absolute calamity. You have the mayor of New York City saying that the migrant crisis is destroying New York City. The governor saying there's no more room at the inn. We need to slow down the influx at the border. We have real challenges, and this prevents us from dealing with those challenges.
I think you're right about the border, and especially in a place like New York, where it is coming to a head. And I have questions about the bipartisan nature of the House and whether it can work together. But I do want to get your take on the 2 people that are currently now, I guess, leading the conversation about leading the House, Steve Scalise and Jim Jordan. Do you support either one of them?
Well, so let me just comment on the bipartisan nature of the House real quick. I think there was an opportunity yesterday, frankly. I am a member of Problem Solvers. We did have a meeting, and I think there was an opportunity for folks to put the country above the insanity, and all 208 Democrats that were here voted with Matt Gaetz. I think it was an opportunity that was missed, and I think it left a lot of people with a bad taste in their mouth about the ability of problem solvers to function.
My understanding from the Democrats, part of the problem was that Kevin McCarthy just wasn't trustworthy for the Democrats, that he needed them to help pass the funding bill, and then he went on TV and blamed them for trying to shut down the government when that just wasn't the reality.
When that just wasn't the reality, as usual, they lie. Lawler is no friend of Democrats, all right? And I use people like Lawler and other Republicans that are telling some truths about their own for exactly that reason. Because if they are saying these things, it shows you how bad it is. A good friend just sent me a text and thought that I was using Lawler as a good Republican. He's not. I mean, he comes out against AOC, he attacks AOC, and he attacks Mondaire Jones. So to my friend, my brother, who's just sent me the text, I am not here to defend this guy. I'm saying if this guy believes that Matt Gaetz and all these guys are clowns, and we know he himself is a despicable type of person who would pass policies that harm Americans, then it is definite that these guys are beyond the pale. So no, don't ever think that these guys can pull one over any of us in the PDR posse, my brother. All right, that is what we have there. I tell you, I think now the connections may be up. I think the connections are up, and I think everybody can hear everything now. Correct. All right. Anyhow, let's go back to the studio. What do you think about that, Howard? Yeah. Right. Yeah, well, look, I mean, I think I'm gonna have to we're gonna have to postpone Neil Aquino till tomorrow because it turns out that we're having some technical difficulties with bringing the three things, and Neil has some important subjects to cover. So, Neil, I want to apologize that we have some technical Can we do this tomorrow, and I'll continue with the program with the other side of the things, okay?
Great, thank you.
You're right. I every now and then, folks, we have these types of issues that occur. But anyhow, we have quite a few subjects to cover. First of all, 713-526-5738 is the number to call in. 713-526-5738. Give us a call. Anyway, I want to jump on yes, sir. Yes. I need to get some geniuses in here. That's what I need to do. So, I actually what I think it is because this is the setup that has worked before. I think we actually have a technical problem within a piece of software that we have here that I'm going to have to look into after the program is done because we've done this before. But anyhow, we want to cover Medicare Advantage, folks. Everybody knows that this is the time of the year when we start to get people signing up for Medicare. This is well, Egberto is back. That's not. Yeah, the the ten cans and strings continue to work. Anyhow, Medicare Advantage. Here is a deal, folks. This is important. This is the time of the year that all folks or older folks, when you're over 65, you're starting to look for your healthcare options. And there are two options, really, two major options. You either get standard Medicare or you get Medicare Advantage. They like to sell Medicare. I don't know why Medicare Advantage has the name Advantage on it. I don't know why it has the name Medicare on it. Do realize it's important for you to know that Medicare Advantage has very little to do with Medicare. Medicare Advantage is private insurance, just like you have private insurance that you get when you go out there, and the same problems you have with private insurance is what you will have with Medicare Advantage because it is run by the private sector. It's a for profit sector, and they don't lose money. So, therefore, if costs start to go up, if too many people start to get sick, they try to reduce the services they provide you to pay the bills. Punto y final. No two ways about it. They are a for profit. When you have standard Medicare, it will always be there. Now, the selling point of Medicare Advantage right now is that they have all kind of frills. Oh, we cover dental. We cover your eyes. We cover your ears. All these things are true. In the short term, they make sure to have all these things covered. They also, many of them have no premiums. If you get standard Medicare, there's a small premium that you're going to pay. You don't pay that if many times with Medicare Advantage. It's the gimmick. But also Medicare Advantage, of course, for giving you all of that, they charge more to the government. So the government takes our Medicare dollars, that 3% that you pay in your check, that goes into the Medicare fund. That's your premium, if you will, that you've paid all of your working life. That is what actually pays Medicare. And that then goes, the Medicare Advantage private companies who never wanted to insure old people before, they decided to come back into the market after they bribed the government to give them 20% on average more than standard Medicare costs. And that's how they can give you a few frills. Now, here is the kicker. They determine what doctors you go to. They determine what medicines you take. They determine what hospitals you go to. A friend, everybody who listens to this station probably listens to Tom Hartman. Tom Hartman, I interviewed him a few months ago, and he told a story about his friend who had prostate cancer. He didn't know that. And the friend knew where he wanted to go. He wanted to go to the Mayo Clinic. And it turns out that he thought he had Medicare. So they had appointments, everything set up for him to fly to go to the Mayo Clinic. I don't remember where the Mayo Clinic is. I think it's in Minnesota, if I remember correctly. He had everything set up to go out there. And then he gets the call, sir, your bill will be, I don't remember how many $1,000 his initial bill to come in. And he said, that's okay. I have Medicare. And they said, no, sir, you have Medicare Advantage, and Medicare Advantage, a plan that you have, don't cover the our services. So it turns out he had to go elsewhere. And if I recalled, I don't think he's with us here any longer. But my point is that whenever you get the private sector into healthcare, watch out. You get the bells and whistles in the beginnings because we give you great care. And sometimes when you're healthy, that less expensive service or less expensive cost that you're spending on Medicare Advantage because it costs you less, hey, it really looks like an advantage until you get sick. So now what's happening is you are going to, or rather, what's happening now is organizations have done reports and calculations that show that that hefty profit that these guys are making, if instead of allowing these guys to exist and profit off of your illness, profit off of the government getting that cash, if the government simply said, you know what, we will make the premiums free for standard Medicare. That's how much money is being wasted right now. That is how much money is being wasted by having Medicare Advantage. That is what the bribing to our organizations have cost us. So the story is titled, and Harry, I'm going to come to you, but I need to get this story started. Medicare Advantage overbills taxpayers by $140 billion a year, enough to wipe out Medicare premiums. Medicare Advantage is just another example of the endless greed of the insurance industry poisoning American healthcare, says a new report from Physicians for a National Healthcare Program. A report published Wednesday estimates that privately run, government funded Medicare Advantage plans are overcharging the U.S. taxpayers by over $140 billion per year, a sum that could be used to completely eliminate Medicare Part B premiums or fully fund Medicare's prescription drug program. Physicians for a National Healthcare Program, an advocacy group that supports transitioning to a single payer healthcare system, found that Medicare Advantage overbills the federal government by at least $88 billion per year based on 2022 spending. That lower end estimate accounts for a common MA practice such as upcoding, where diagnoses are piled up onto a patient risk assessment to make them appear sicker than they actually are, resulting in a larger payment from the federal government. But when accounting for induced utilization, the idea that people with supplemental coverage are likely to use more healthcare because their insurance pays for more of their costs, PNHP, that is the Physicians for National Healthcare Program, estimated that the annual overbilling total as high as $140 billion. This is unconscionable, unsustainable, and in our current healthcare system, unremarkable, says the new report. Medicare Advantage is just another example of the endless greed of the insurance industry poisoning American healthcare, siphoning money from vulnerable patients while delaying and denying necessary and often life saving treatment. even if the more conservative figure is accurate. PNHP noted the excess funding that Medicare Advantage plans are receiving each year would be more than enough to expand traditional Medicare to cover dental, hearing, and vision. Traditional Medicare does not currently cover those benefits, which often leads patients to seek out supplemental coverage or switch to a Medicare Advantage plan. And hear me out here, because what's interesting is the Medicare Advantage charges the government more so that they can sell Medicare Advantage by telling people the government doesn't cover your ears without a supplemental plan. The government doesn't cover your eyes, etc., without a supplemental plan. So they charge the government more to give you more that than the government actually gives you. It's amazing that this is happening, and for that they make a profit. Now I want you to realize this. I want you to think about this. And for those online who can't hear because of the technical difficulties that we have, you can go to kpft.org and listen to it live on that stream. Those of If you take a look every day now, every several times an hour, you can listen to a Medicare Advantage uh, ad, a Medicare Advantage commercial. Constantly, constantly, you can hear Medicare Advantage commercials. And you know how expensive commercials are. You know how expensive it is to advertise on CNN, how expensive it is to advertise on ABC, CBS, MSNBC, and all these other stations. And every commercial break, you can find a Medicare Advantage ad. Who do you think is paying for that? That is, first of all, if you have all that money to spend on that commercial, that means that there's a lot of money not being spent on keeping you healthy. And remember, when you go to the doctor, when you're on Medicare Advantage, you have to ask permission for procedures. So you're going in and they tell you you need a colonoscopy. And you go ahead and you try and you go put it in and say, oh, no, you can't have it. You had it 7 months ago. You got to wait for X amount of years because you are, all of that is what you hear. But they always have enough money to place all these ads on TV, to put all these brochures out, to send out salespeople to your home and try to convince you. They send sales. I had a friend that sold Medicare Advantage. And you know what he did? He went to all the old folks' homes, right? And he goes ahead and he takes them. He had these cards, these Luby's cards. All of this paid for by the Medicare Advantage people. He would take them, he would go ahead and get 20 people, 20 old people. I'm taking you to lunch. And each of them got a Luby's credit card. And they go out there and they buy lunch and they talk to them and they give them all the advantages of taking out Medicare Advantage and take them in. Now, for that, for each of those people, that salesperson, for every sales he made, he got 100% of the first year that person paid for Medicare Advantage. Let me tell you the thievery, the theft that's in this system. But again, I understand for some people who, because of the costs, they can't afford immediately to go on and say, I'm going to take the standard Medicare because I simply do not have that premium. I simply don't have that premium. I get it. I honestly get it. The problem is, however, what occurs. The problem is what happens too often is that harms us in the aggregate. I'm going to continue with this subject, but let's bring Harry into the conversation and then we'll take it afterwards. Harry, come on in. I am doing fine, my friend. Talk to me. Right. Right. Here's the thing, Harry. And folks, the number is 713-526-5738. Again, that number is 713-526-5738. Please give us a call if you want to talk about this subject. For there are thousands, if not millions, of people in the Houston area that are currently on Medicare Advantage, and I don't want these people. I mean, a lot of these people are going to be. We're going to throw a lot of angst onto them right now by making this. I'm talking now to the people who are about to sign up. Don't be fooled into going to Medicare Part C. Go ahead and get standard Medicare. There are, however, circumstances where, because of finances, personal finances, that some folks simply cannot they cannot afford this. They fall into this middle ground where they cannot afford to get standard Medicare. And what happens is their only choice is Medicare Advantage. And what they need to understand at that point is, yes, you are going to be at a disadvantage if you get sick. I understand that. But if that's your only choice, that is your only choice. That is a statement of fact. Now, for those of you who can spend a few more dollars and get the standard Medicare, remember, if you start out at Medicare Advantage and you get sick, going back to standard Medicare is possible, but it is impossible for you to get what's called Medigap. And the reason why is whenever you start with Medicare, get Medicare Advantage, getting Medigap is going to be going through the actuarial tables again. And because at that point you would be sick, you won't be able to get it, or get it, you'll likely get it at a very high price. This is something that we need folks to understand. Harry, I get some other calls, so give me a one liner to close and then I could go to Nancy. Right, right. It's a 20% coverage. That's what it is. Right, right. Thank you, Harry. Let me go ahead and go to Nancy. You have a wonderful day and thanks for calling in. Come on in. All right, come on in, Nancy. Uh-huh. Nancy, please keep your Nancy, please keep your voice next to the handle because you're coming in and out. Continue, please. Now, Nancy, let me just say something to Nancy here. Nancy, first of all, thank you for bringing that important piece of information, and I tell you how important that is. Going forward, as Howard would tell us all of the times, vote the you know what out. And what he means by that is understand how these candidates, if they are elected, what they support. And what Nancy just pointed out is a very important feature. If our current incumbent in District 7 does not support Medicare for single payer healthcare that's going to make sure her constituents are taken care of, and there is somebody else in that election that will do that, you must start voting your interest to ensure, you may want to query her to make sure, do you support Medicare for all or a single payer system. Nancy, I got to go to another call. Thank you for giving us that information. Let's go ahead and go to Nola. Come on in, Nola. Hmm. Right. Hmm. Hmm. Right. Nola, let me tell you, Medicare Advantage is not let me just say, I want everybody to listen to this. Medicare is a government program that ensures all the citizens of the United States after 65 will have health care no matter what. Medicare Advantage abuses the Medicare system to suck the money out of it, make a profit, and whatever's left over, they give you care. So if their profits fall, your care will fall. If that's I need Americans to understand that. And Nola, I'm so happy that you found that out. Now, please make sure to be an advocate for people who are running that support single payer healthcare that really takes care of all of us. Thank you so kindly, Nola, for calling in. All right, let's go to Melissa. Come on in, Melissa. Good morning. Mm-hmm. Right. No, no, I want to take you up on that. I want to take you up on that. I want to take you up on that. That's important. Oh, okay. Go ahead. Go ahead. Exactly. Uh, Melissa, I don't have an answer for the inmate issue because I'm not up on to speed on that. But I can tell you one thing: keep trying to tell your guy if he has the option to go to standard Medicare, and if he doesn't want to listen, again, you've done your part. But as far as you not having health insurance while older people get it. I get it. That is why you have to be on board with us, pushing the politicians, as Nancy said, understand which one supports single payer. Single payer gets every single American citizen, just like in Canada, just like in France, health care. Every single American citizen. All my lines are super full, Melissa, but thank you so kindly for calling as usual. All right, let's jump to Johnny real quick. And folks, I have to be going a little quick with everybody right now because all lines are on. Come on in, brother Johnny. Mayor Johnny. S- Social Security work. No, no, Social Security works. That's what he does. Yeah. Well, I've interviewed him like 5 or 6 times. Yes. The USPS, yeah, U.S. Postal Service director. Right. Johnny, yeah, you're correct. I gotta go. I gotta go. Thank you so kindly for calling in. What you said, what Johnny said, absolutely sure. We'll continue with that tomorrow. Let's go ahead and jump to Joe. Come on in, Joe. Uh, I'm fine. Talk to me, Joe. Uh-oh. I don't. Joe, please call back. Please call back because I want to hear what you have to say. Let's go to something happened with the line. Let's go ahead and go to Art. Come on in, Art. Joe, call back, please. Come on in, Art. Yes, I can hear you. Okay. Sir, we don't have a lot of time, so please make your statement and tell me what you're trying to say. It's false, but go ahead. It's not true, but continue. Sir, no, sir, let me tell you first of all. I mean, no, no, no. Let me explain something to you. All right. I mean, first of all, I am not a fan of funding Ukraine or anything like that. Let me just say that point. Okay. But that said, we we started to fund Ukraine for a particular reason. It is we ought to finish that particular thing, and that Ukraine is not stopping us from spending the money that we need for Hawaii. Ukraine is not stopping us from spending the money for anything. Just like we never looked at our budget when we were given tax cuts. We do things that we need to do. What they never tell you is that we have a sovereign currency. We can really spend as much as we want. Eventually, it'll catch up with you, but the issue here with Ukraine has nothing to do with anything except politics. And it has nothing to do with single payer. It has nothing to do with Hawaii. Anybody that's using that as a concept is simply pulling your chains, and they're trying to get you riled up about things that are mutually exclusive. Go ahead, continue. No, it doesn't. No, it has nothing to do. It has nothing to do. So as I'm saying, sir, don't fall for the crap. Again, it turns out we have a sovereign currency, and that's yeah. Great. Thank you so kindly. Let's go to Joe again, real quick. Come on in, Joe. That. Mm-hmm. 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 Well, Mr. MAGA Republican, as I always say, I love you no matter that you're MAGA or otherwise. You know that, right? No, no. Well, I think there's a lot about MAGA that I think is bad, but you and I are going to talk about that, as you listen to my show and go on, because I still have hope right now that you're going to realize that all you MAGA folks, I love you MAGA folks, all you MAGA folks have the same needs and wants of all we progressive folks. And you're going to see that. But what happens is we have external forces that are trying to separate us. And what I'm trying to do is make sure that those external forces fail. But I'm so happy that you already put a stamp out there that you and I agree on this particular issue of taking care of our older folks, and you and I are going to agree on a whole lot of other things, and then we're going to sit down and say, "Well, how the hell are we different again?" You're going to see. But anyway, give me a quick close. Joe, we got a deal. We got a deal. All right. Let me go. Let me jump to Brian real quick. Thank you, brother. Peace. Brian, come on in. Yes. It's not a. I don't disagree or agree. That's none of my business. Again, let me tell you. I am not going to. Let me just tell you one thing, Brian. I want you to hear this, and I want you to hear this well. Um, the reason you are concentrating on this particular issue when everything is burning down around you is exactly why the people that are setting the fires that burn everything out down around us is using this subject on you because they notice that it worked. I am not going to go there with you, my brother, but I'm going to tell you one thing. Okay, eventually you will see. No, no. Okay, I made you talk. I'm speaking now. Eventually, my brother. Eventually you will see that your singular focus on certain issues were done by design to keep your eyes off the ball. But Brian, call back tomorrow when I'm not this full with calls. If I'm not this full with calls, and we'll have a longer. We'll have a longer conversation on this another time. I promise you. Thank you, sir. Let's go to a Bard. Good morning, sir. Okay. Say no. I didn't. Say that again. I missed it. Hmm. But nobody. Okay. Hold on a second. Don't leave, Bart, because I want to make one thing very clear to you. Make America great again. To a lot of people, let me tell you why that becomes offensive. Now, listen to what I'm saying. Uh, a lot of people in America are waiting for America to be great for them because America was never great for them. And what I'm asking guys that have that statement, like you, Brother Bard, is to understand for those people who were whipped, for those people who have yet to recover from what the country as a society has done to them, ill gains, etc. America was never great for them. So you cannot expect them to say, make America great for again, because again assumed it was for them. It was not. And you should have as a human being, as somebody who claimed to love others, you should understand those who are telling you, I want to make America great. And making America great means health care for everybody. Making America great means all the good things for people. But unless we do that, those who have never had these things, America was never great for them, and they were born here. So it's nice to have this rhetoric. It's nice to have a great rhetoric, but rhetoric doesn't make America great. Being great makes you great. You get where we're coming from, Brother Bard? No, sir. Again, I, sir, no, it's not about no. To be able to get it yourself, I don't drop this, brother. To be able to get it yourself, you have to be able to get it. Nobody's asking for a handout. They're asking to make sure we have a playing field for everybody. And if you are unable, my brother, to see that the playing field has never been even for everybody in this country, that is, in fact, the problem. Thank you so kindly, Bard. We'll talk another time. Anonymous woman, come on in. Thank you so kindly, Miss Anonymous Woman. All right, Peter, come on in. You got 30 seconds. Thank you. Peter, I appreciate it. Peter's running for District 2, folks. So look him up. Look him up. Peter, what's your last name? Real quick. There you go. Look him up, folks. Anyway, folks, let me throw it right back to the studio. Hey Joe, I mean, hey, first of all, I want to thank Van Bibber like no other. The phones just kind of blew up, and Van Bibber was able to handle it all. Jack Van Bibber, our man Jack. Anyway, folks, I want to thank Jack Van Bibber. I want to thank Howard Reynolds. We've had technical difficulties. Neil Aquino, I'll get that fixed today. My name is Egberto Willis. This is Politics Done Right, and you know how I end this, baby. I am what? Out!